I don't mind. Oh. Good evening and welcome to Supernatural Live. We're here for your Thursday night tonight, and we're joined by a very, very special guest, someone that we worked with, I don't know, a good 12 years or so now, Richard Felix. Good evening and welcome to the show.
Hello, how are we doing?
Well, we're okay now, are we? We've had a few poltergeists in the system.
We've had
playing around
poltergeist problems, serious poltergeist. There's a ghost in the machine, no doubt about that. But I hope it stays away.
I was feeling it.
I just hope it stays away for the time being.
Stay away! 2 meters apart and all that. So,
hey,
really
listen, Andrew, this is not something that ghost hunters normally do, is it? Stay away, don't talk to me, just clear off for a bit.
We normally love going into the worst places, the scariest places and stuff like that. So
that's right.
So, we worked together now, didn't we? A good, I don't know, 12 years ago in Portsmouth in Buckingham House, if you remember.
Must be 12 years ago. The Duke of Buckingham's house in was it Portsmouth, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, just down the road from me.
Yeah, that was a tremendous night. That was really. With David Wells was there, wasn't he?
Yes. I think we did record it first, and then we kind of did. We stayed on, didn't we? Did a ghost hunt after everybody else had gone, and I remember James getting a bit scared. He probably doesn't remember that though.
I've got to say, I don't know how well you can remember it, Richard, but that is one building that does scare me. I don't know. It's out of all my times I'm doing ghost hunts, it just freaks me out.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons is it's such a period property. It looks as it did or would have looked when the Duke of Buckingham was stabbed to death in 1600 and frozen to death or whenever it was. I mean, it does look. It's an ominous building, isn't it?
I must admit,
it is amazing.
It's slightly different now because when was it? A couple of years ago, they made it into a hotel.
Really?
That big room that we done a glasswork in with the paneling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's now like a master bedroom.
Wow.
And God forbid anyone that stays there, but
Yeah, but these days, guys, people will pay double to spend the night in the haunted bedroom compared to years ago. Years ago, if you had a ghost in the hotel, you didn't tell anybody. You didn't advertise it because people were but since ghost tourism has become as big as it has, which it is, there's no getting away from it. It is, but people will pay more, will ask for the haunted bedroom. In the vain hope that something happens during the night. But things have changed. I just wonder whether they're exploiting it, whether they're actually telling anybody, about would you like the haunted bedroom, madam?
I think it's on the website. I think they actually advertise it. I'm sure they do, but
I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, it works, doesn't it?
It does.
So, Richard, I'm going to ask you. You've been involved in the paranormal for a long time. So, what got you interested in the first place?
Oh, what? If you were right to be
big question, this one.
Two things. Number one, I've been frightened of ghosts. I think most people know that now. I've said I've been frightened of ghosts. Still, I'm frightened of ghosts. I've been frightened of ghosts since I was 4 years of age. I had this ridiculous. Nothing happened apart from the fact that I played with kids that were a lot older than me, and they used to terrify me with ghost stories. And I obviously was rather an imaginative sort of child, and they used to tell me that the green ghost would get me that night when I went home, and they didn't. I wasn't frightened. I was terrified. I really was terrified of it, and that stayed with me. To be honest with you, even now, would you believe? I still have a problem going into. I did on Most Haunted. I had serious problems going off doing a lone vigil. It was still there. So that was the first thing. But that was, I suppose, nothing to do with it in a way, because nothing happened to me until I was 27. So, and I could cope with it then. So there wasn't a problem. But really, the ghost business with me started when I became chairman of Derby Tourism. Would you believe?
Yeah.
And I thought I was trying to come up with a way of promoting the city of Derby. And I thought, well, York do ghost walks, and Chester do ghost walks, and Edinburgh do ghost walks. Why don't we try a ghost walk in the centre of Derby, and of course since then I've had Derby declared the most haunted city in Great Britain, with
Oh,
York and
even
Chester
better.
joint second. I mean, come on,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
quite, and it's in print. It was in the Sun, so it must be true. So
Oh wow,
that,
yeah. There you go.
that's how it started, right? But the big one is that when I did the first one, I thought I can't do this. This is rubbish. This is not the I've got to believe it. I've got to believe in
Yeah,
at least the credibility of the story. And so I stopped. I thought, no, I can't do this. I'll take 6 months to research, to go into it in depth, and only deal with credible stories. I can't prove them, and add to that the
yeah.
history that goes with it, like the Duke of Buckingham's house. In what I mean, what an
Yes.
no wonder it's haunted, if you know what I mean. So you can tie a fascinating history in with the ghost story. The history you can prove, the ghost story you can't. But even
Yeah.
so, the two go
True.
together, big time. And that's where it really started, and it's just escalated huge, to such a big deal. And then I don't know what happened. What happened next? Antics Productions got in touch with me on series 1 and asked me if they could come to Derby Jail.
Yeah.
We did that on series 1, and within, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks of them leaving, I got a phone call from Yvette saying, could Carl and Stuart come and have a chat with you? Come back and have a chat with you. And I said, yeah, of course they can, not a problem.
Yeah, yeah,
And they came down to see me again, and they said, well, I'll be honest with you, Richard, as the proprietor of the building and as a witness, because I'd seen a ghost in Derby Jail,
yeah.
you should have a 2-minute slot on the program. They said, but I'll be honest with you, Richard. After 20 minutes, we just didn't know where to edit it. Would you like a job? And that's how it all. That's how it came about.
Fantastic.
It was. Oh, come
Yeah.
on, it was.
Oh, we
And
loved
that's
you
how
on
the whole
Most
damn thing
Haunted.
started. Sorry.
We loved you on Most Haunted. I don't watch these kind of shows, but we did love you on Most Haunted. You were, yeah, the most
Well, I
entertaining
was
one,
the
I
voice of
reckon.
reality. You see, there again, I was the voice of reality. I was the bloke that's trying to prove what it was, or whether it was true or not. I mean, I know that was supposedly Kieran O'Keefe's job, or uh,
Yeah.
I can't remember. Come on, I've forgotten the names. But I was the one. I am. That's me. So basically, what then happened was that I needed to go into it in much greater detail. I
Yeah.
needed to prove, or in fact, that's my quest, to try and prove what ghosts are, the reality behind it, not your
Yeah.
Scooby Doo, not your scary stuff like that, but the actual reality of what the damn thing's all about. And that's
Yeah.
that's what I'm working on it, but I'm
That's
still
what we
working
love
on
as
it. I'm
well.
afraid.
I mean, for us, the same as well. I mean, what we do, we love going out there. We love doing the ghost hunts, and yeah, we love
Mm,
the history part of it. And like you said, putting the two together.
yes.
And I mean, we've been to some fantastic historical places. I haven't been to Derby Jail though. What's going on?
Oh, you
What
don't
have I
know
been
what you're
doing?
missing.
I
Don't know
know it's
what you're missing. Yeah.
disgraceful.
Well,
James, you've got to get that
no,
sorted out.
nobody
I was
goes
going to
away
say that.
disappointed. I really mean it. Nobody goes away
Really?
disappointed. It's very active. Um, Really genuine. No bullshit. We don't. I mean, obviously on the ghost walks that we do,
Mm.
because I do. God Almighty, I do. I don't know, three different walks around the city of Derby. Um, and,
Oh, really?
and on the
Yeah.
ghost walks, we scare you shitless. I mean, we have jumper outers on it. It's a
No.
3 hour. It's a 3 hour event. A couple of haunted pubs with candle-lit
Oh,
supper at the
wow.
end of it. It's a night
Oh,
out,
nice.
and we
Yeah.
go in. You see, I don't believe in standing outside and telling the story. I need to go in. We need to go into the attic, into the cellar where the murder took place, and so I have arrangements with whoever places that let me borrow the key, have the key, the pub with the ghost in the
Yeah.
cellar, or whatever, that sort of stuff. um and then a candlelit supper at the end of it. But we also, because people are out for a night out, we have scares on it as well. which people absolutely love because it's a night out. Do a lot of corporate stuff and that sort of. But on our ghost events, on the night vigils, of course, that's real. Nothing. We don't in any way. If nothing happens, nothing happens. End of story. Sorry guys, come again. It might happen next time, but but still, nobody goes away disappointed. It's very active.
Yeah.
It really is. But when go on.
That's very, very much like as you probably know, our business model as well, because over at Supernatural Tours and Events, we do actual ghost tours where we jump out and scare people. We use some of the venues and things and vaults, but actually we do the real ghost hunts as well. And we're very big on making sure that people know the difference between the two.
Yes,
otherwise
exactly.
people
Of
have
course.
this thought, don't they? Yeah.
I mean,
this absolute thought. Oh, everything's right up there.
Yeah, I mean, things. I mean, it's pretty obvious that when a bloke that jumps out from behind something with a monk's outfit on, or what, it's pretty damned obvious that he's real. That he isn't a ghost. But there are occasional. We've done other things in places like we've taken them into somewhere and we've had a bucket in the cellar on perched on something, and there's a bit of fishing wire through the wall, and we pull it and down it goes, and everybody screams. And then, but we obviously always tell them that by the way, guys, you do know that wasn't real. You've had your scare. That's great. Now let me explain why that happened. And that's of course what should have happened on Most Haunted and a lot of other TV programs that are out there. They scare, someone screams, falls over, faints, has a headache, or whatever it is. You've had your scare. Then you should come clean after it, in my opinion. But of course, these TV programs, they're only interested in viewings, how many people are viewing, and they think that there needs to be a ghost every 5 minutes. But of course, as you guys know only too well, it ain't like that, is it?
Yeah, and that's tough, isn't it? Because we get people on the ghost hunt to go, well, I've seen Most Haunted, why has nothing happened in 45 minutes? But actually,
that's the trouble.
These TV shows have got 42 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. And people do expect something. And the same with night vigils and things. They expect something to happen because it always happened on Ghost Adventures and Haunted this and Haunted that and Most Haunted, and do you know what I mean? That's the problem. And so but we don't do anything on the night vigils. But I'd say we don't need to, because it's amazing what happens. Really is. It's a good place. You'll have to come, guys. You really will.
Yes. James, we've got to do that. We've got to get that locked in once lockdown's finished.
When? Yeah.
That's a big question at the moment.
Yeah. But I have to tell you guys, I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it, because I'm not walking the streets of Derby 3 and 4 nights a week, going out about 6:30, coming home about 11:30, and then Friday night, Saturday night, gone again at 6:30, 7 o'clock, come home about 2:45 in the morning. Oh God!
Yeah.
Too old, mate.
It's a weird thing, isn't it? I love it. I absolutely love it. And it's when you're doing the ghost tours and you get people stop you who aren't on the tour and go, "Oh, can I have a photo with you from what time?"
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Yeah.
Come on in.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just
after 29 years, mate, it wears a bit thin.
Oh, I bet it doesn't. I bet you still really love it.
Well, I'll tell you what,
James,
the other week, Guy, quite a few weeks ago now, Guy says to me, "You're so enthusiastic about this. You must love what you do." And I said, "Well, yes, I do. But if I was really very honest with you, I'd much rather be sat at home watching Netflix with a glass of red wine in my hand." And that's the truth.
Too much Netflix.
Yeah.
Richard, I've got a couple of questions to ask you.
Yes.
My first question has got to be: do you have a favourite location?
Yeah, the Tower of London.
Yeah.
Got to be, hasn't it? I mean, come on, it's got to be.
Yeah.
There's nothing got a history of hauntings and a history more than the Tower of London. And you never know. One day. I mean, I have filmed in the Tower of London. for Ghosts of London, the DVD, but I actually got thrown out while I was filming. Most people get thrown into the tower, but I was chucked out by a beefeater. But I did manage to get a bit of footage. But the chances of getting a night, an event at the Tower of London, pretty remote.
Yeah.
I think, which is a shame.
Yeah,
because it's that's the be all and end all. But other than that, I mean, oh dear, I'm very fond of Greyfriars Churchyard in Edinburgh. You know, the Mackenzie Poltergeist.
Okay, yeah.
That's a belter. That's pretty good. Merry King's Close, I love. That's the business. That's awesome. But where, I mean, I suppose if you say, you know, where is one place that you would go back to? Gosh, that's a good one, isn't it? Queen Mary.
I must admit,
the Queen Mary.
It is always a tricky question.
Yeah, Queen Mary at Long Beach, I think. That was good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, no, I'd love to go to Derby Jail.
Yeah. Well, they are then.
See, I've got it worked out. But if you go to Tower of London for a ghost hunt, I'll be right there with you.
Oh God, could you imagine it? It would be the dog's bollocks. That would. It really would. There's no getting away from it.
It would.
Yeah.
Just the amount of stuff that's happened there.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the number of hauntings that there are as well to do with the place. You know, credible hauntings by, you know, Grenadier Guardsmen on duty, all sorts of stuff. You know, and lots more stories that have never come out from the yeoman warders that live there and the staff there. Yeah, that's got to be the one on my bucket list. One day.
Absolutely, 100% agree with that.
Now I've got another question for you, Richard.
Yes.
I know, like you said, hauntings and stuff. I know, look, most people think it happens all the time, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
But what is your most, say, experience that you actually remember for most, the one that sticks out?
Oh gosh. What that's happened to me? You mean? Or
yes.
Yeah, that's happened to me. Well, I mean, there's a few, but I think it has to be obviously the ghost I saw in Derby Jail at 3:20 on a Friday afternoon. I mean, I think the world must know about it now because I've told. But that has to be because I hadn't seen it. I mean, must be about 17 years ago. I would think something like that, and it was broad daylight. You know, it was 3:20 on a Friday afternoon, and I'm stood on the phone in the kitchen of the jail, which was an old prison cell. As I watched this grey, hazy shape of a person glide down the corridor in front of me, and it was, you know, it was the nearest. I mean, it looked like Casper. No, it didn't. No, it looked like someone had got a sheet over their head, gliding down, but it wasn't a sheet. It was a grey haze, but I couldn't see through it. But it was distinctly. It was so grey, and I saw it and I sensed it as well. And the daft part about it is that although I've been frightened of ghosts all my bleeding life, nearly, it didn't. It bothered me, but it didn't. You see, it didn't do it. It didn't get me. It didn't do anything. It just glided past. And then I sort of went to see where, because I did what everyone does and put 2 and 2 together and came up with 5. You know, someone's come in. They look a little strange, but they've just come in. We're not open, but we, you know. And so I stuck my head round the front of the counter, looking into the darkness of the jail, expecting them to be there, and there wasn't anybody there. Wow. And that's when the hair on the back of it did stand. And so that's got
that's
got to be
experience, isn't it?
Yeah, because that's full on, no corner of the eye or any nonsense like that. We're looking at 4 or 5 seconds, me standing watching it glide past this cutout window that we'd got. It wasn't a window; it's a cutout aperture in the corridor. And I've ticked because that's what I do all day. I've ticked every normal box that there is to try and disprove it, because that's what I do all the time.
Yeah,
tick the normal box.
We do the same.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Everything under the sun. Could it be? Was it a foggy day? No. Had I got the fire on? With the smoke from the fire? No. Had I got the kettle on? Was it steam? No. Was the dishwasher? No, it wasn't. Infrasound. Been there, checked that. Had a machine in there to check the corridor to see if there's, if there's any infrasound. Nothing at all. So just one explanation, I'm afraid. It were a ghost.
Did it actually scare you afterwards?
Yeah. Yeah, it took me a few days because the next stage, of course, is that I realised that after I was on the phone looking to this guy from Derby City Council, chatting away, and I told him what I'd seen, and I said, "Well, I hope you don't mind, but I may stay on the phone now a bit longer." And he says, "Why?" I says, "Because when I put this phone down, mate, I'm on my own. While I've got you with me. It's having somebody there.
Yeah.
So yes, it did.
Yeah.
And then eventually I obviously did put the phone down and then realised that I got to come out of this kitchen area, which was a cell, and go up the corridor where I've just seen a ghost. And I've been frightened of ghosts for all my life, But of course it was gone, it wasn't there. And I've never seen it again. Just once in all those years. But the corridor is the things other things happen in the corridor. Other people have experienced similar, but not the same, in the same corridor. But only once for me. That's it. So that's got to be the other good one, of course, to me was the Queen Mary in cabin 340 when I spent the night alone. Well, I wasn't alone, was I?
Oh, I remember this.
Yeah.
This was on TV, wasn't it?
Yeah, I wasn't alone. Cabin,
I remember this.
You heard footsteps going around my bed, and then you heard this little girl or boy's voice call "Mummy" twice. And then that was. But I didn't.
Love that.
It's creepy.
Didn't hear it.
That was good. That was bloody good. That one was. That was quite something. I'd like to go back again.
Yeah,
good place.
I'd love to go there. Love it. We've got a couple of questions.
Yes.
Our viewers have got some questions for you. So Sylvia has said, when you're doing your ghost tours, you dress up whatever you're doing, do you ever get scared on them?
No, because I've always got people with me.
No.
I've always got a group of people. So yeah, I'm trying
extra experience, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of 29 years of doing it. Have I ever been scared on a tour? No, because I say obviously there's always people there, and it's this being a lone job. It's this fear of the alone and something, but not being alone, if you know what I mean. Something that you don't understand that could be there. And so no, never. No, I've been scared when on plays. When I've done ghost hunts on TV with Most Haunted and stuff like that when I've had to go off alone. But no, not on my events. No, not yet.
Wow, James has. He got locked in one of the vaults by mistake on his own ones before he was in there.
Oh, so really?
We were on a ghost tour, and because I hide in somewhere and do like the sounds and whatever else.
Yes.
Believe it or not, it's a part of the vault that's the most spookiest. It's got history to it, and it's a part I hate. But anyway, they went on. I went to come out of my hiding place. They locked up the door and turned off the lights out.
How wonderful!
I know. I was in there for 5 minutes.
What's for us?
Oh boy! But it was real, real person that had locked you in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I gotta say,
it weren't a ghost then.
It's rather false. I don't actually like because, like I said, on for Ghost Tour, because we do like different sounds and stuff like that, and I get so many electrical problems there. My speaker goes, my phone goes off, torches go off.
Draining.
And it's one of those places, even though it's a ghost tour and it's acting, it's still spooky for me being in there.
Are, you see. Yeah, and you're down there alone, of course, at times, waiting for the public coming, or...
Yeah.
And
it's one of those things before. I've been down all by myself, and the speaker's gone, or my mobile's gone off, and a light's gone out, and I was like, I'm here by myself. I've got to go out and act or whatever, get ready.
Yeah.
But there's something going on here, paranormal.
Yeah, not good, that. Not good. Well, the nearest thing that has happened, it's twice, funnily enough, is I've had we've got vaults underneath our Guildhall in the centre of Derby. And I used to go down there beforehand to set things up and get things right. And I remember going down the vault, down this long tunnel, and my torch went out. And as the torch went out, I'm thinking, well, it doesn't matter. I know where I'm going. Kept going, and then all of a sudden, this crescendo of a noise, and there was a pigeon. Oh Jesus! I've never turned around and run so fast in all my life. Then I realised what it was, but that bothered me. But it was a pigeon. Nothing. But it still got me big time.
It's so easy in the dark, though, when you can't see around you, and you're so limited, aren't you? Every little thing, like, oh, what was that?
Yeah, that's right.
We've got. Karen said, would you consider going back to Most Haunted at all?
Oh wow! Well, I resigned from Most Haunted. That's the trouble.
Oh right, okay.
How long ago? Oh yeah, whatever. And I resigned because, and it's not my show, so it's up to them. But I wanted so much to, the door slammed shut, and Yvette screamed, and I probably ran because, to say, I'm frightened of ghosts. And everyone at home that was having a Most Haunted party, the neighbours hadn't got Sky, so everyone came round to your house, and you got the pizzas in. It's a bit like the World Cup, wasn't it? And the lagers came in, and everybody was sat there, and nobody dare go to bed. Great fun, And then all of a sudden, this door slams shut. She screams, I run. You jumped off your sofa because it made you jump so much. Great, that was fantastic. We've had the scare. But it was always a scary ghost that slammed the door shut. Always. And all I wanted to do was to be allowed to go and check to see if someone's left a window open because it's a windy night. And be able to go round ticking the normal boxes first before we said, well, hang on a minute, we've got a box without a tick in it here. We really need to investigate more into this. Let's start. But no, I was never allowed to do that. It had to be a scary ghost that slammed the door shut, and it got to me in the end. And I thought, no, I can't cope with this. Can't cope with it. So I handed in my resignation, which wasn't accepted. And then 2 weeks later, they rang me up and sacked me.
Oh,
but there you go. But would I go back?
I
thank them for what they've done for me, for the paranormal world. That program, that single program, has created more argument, more debate, more discussion, and more research than any ghost program ever has.
I agree.
Ever.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
completely agree.
Unfortunately, it degenerated into Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
And that's the show.
Yeah, I went to paranormal before Most Haunted, and before the days of Most Haunted, it was very much, as you probably remember. Yes, there was ghost tours like the ones you're doing.
Yeah.
But outside of the real ghost hunts, it was all association groups and membership groups.
Yeah.
Most Haunted.
Wow. Everybody went out to play Most Haunted. And good for them. Yeah, so I pat them on the back, guys. I'll be honest with you, for what they've created and what they did, and the fact that and if you just remember, if everyone just remembers, it's an entertainment show.
Absolutely.
Which is what my ghost walks are, your ghost walks are. Yes. They're entertainment, aren't they? And then that's okay. That's okay. But don't try and fool people into believing that every 5 minutes it was a ghost that threw something, the stone, the rock, this, the ghost that whistled back to you, which is a bit difficult when they haven't got a voice box, isn't it? Or lips.
One does never cease, so these things happen. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it is an entertainment show, and it is entertainment for what it is.
Yeah, and so long as you're entertained by it, and they admit that it's entertainment, then that's great. But I pat them on the back and say, well done, guys, and thank you, because you've done my profile the world of good.
Yeah, absolutely. But you've done DVDs and things, your own DVDs, haven't you? Because I remember seeing one of your DVDs. Oh, I think it was Hampshire actually, a few years ago.
Hampshire, yeah, I've done over 50, but I've got 37 counties of Great Britain on DVD. Oh, we're now streaming them. And we created Richard Felix.
Oh, I saw this. What a great name.
Yeah, Net Felix. It's got in it Ghost of History, look, but Netflix, and you can stream them now as well, which is quite something. And I also do a TV program at the moment called Forbidden History, which is on the Yesterday channel. And that's quite good. I'm enjoying that, enjoying it a lot. I'm also working on another program which all stopped. Everything stopped at the moment. All about execution. It's called Execute, a Medley of Butchery and Torture. Oh, horrible history, but you can't get it.
Yes, so I'd love because we do you probably see we do a witchcraft and execution theatrical tour in Southampton at the moment. People love it because they love the thought of execution. Yeah, they love it. Honestly, it's become one of our most popular tours.
Yeah, I'm sure. No, it's right. It's right. Yeah. It's why we all slow down to an accident thing. We all around when there's not trying to stop it, but we love it. Horrible history. The more bloody it is, the better.
Yeah, no, we absolutely do.
Yeah.
It's true. It's scary and gory. People love it more, don't they?
Yeah. That's what you call yourself, scary and gory.
No, it's like the normal ghost tours we do, probably like yours as well. They always set out. We always get tourists and people from around the world come to it. And I go, wow, would you? Because you do Derby. Is it 3 tours in Derby?
I do 3 from walks in Derby. Yeah. And a murder walk as well. I forgot that murder walk. They love it. Once a month in Derby Jail, an executions day on a Saturday, because we've got everything in the garden outside at the back of the jail, which is a garden now. Got everything from execution, gas, both sorts of gas, the cart that we've took them on, guillotine, you name it, all built in the back garden. We do exhibit demonstrations, beheading with a sword, with an axe, with a big melon on the block, and let people go see whether they can hit it with one blow and how many blows it takes, take somebody's head off. Oh, it's wonderful. They do.
People really love that kind of thing, don't they? Like I said, we done. I think we only launched in November the execution tour.
Yeah.
We had to put more on because so many people wanted to do it because
they
just love the idea. It sounds sick, but they love the idea of execution.
Yeah. How many people still go today? There will still be executions.
Yeah.
There was. There's no doubt about it. Don't know whether I would. Perhaps I would.
It's frozen a little bit. I think the camera's going to be better, hasn't it?
I think we are having a bit of connection issues here. I think it is slowly sorting itself out, but
oh yeah, you're freezing.
Yeah, it'll probably pick back up in a second.
It'll just give it a bit of time to wind itself up.
I think it's one of those things where everyone's using the internet at the moment. It just can't cope.
Probably. Yeah. Well, there's nothing else to do, is there?
No. There really is nothing else to do. And I think that's why, I guess the internet's been a bit slower than what it normally is. But you did 3 tours. You said you got there's a dining experience on one of them as well, so people can come along and do.
Dining with the dead.
Yeah.
Dining with the dead.
Oh, that's cool.
4-course meal. Excuse me. Around death. Not don't poison people, but we do poacher's pot and jail broth and death chocolate and stuff like that. And stories in between the courses.
Yeah,
that goes down. It usually haunted pub, haunted restaurant, that stuff. That goes down. There's that one. That's my. And the big boss is editing the People's Ghost book. Basically, we came up with this. I think it's a brilliant idea of getting a public who send me their ghost stories, put it in the book of public ghost stories, because that's where most of what I've learnt has come from. The public. your ghost
Yeah.
stories. You're listening to, as I guys do when you're out on walk, people tell you their ghost stories. And over the last 29 years of sort of gathering these stories together, I realised it was good people sent this in, and we published them in a book. Which moments, and specifically, I leave their story as it is. Obviously, don't change their story. If you sent me a story, that's your story, and your name in the book, your dedication as well, and I'll put a take on it at the end of it. In other words, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's the yes, the lady saw that ghost in the toilet at opposite to blah, blah, blah. You know, a number of haunted toilets and bathrooms there are. I put my own take on at the end of the story. Yeah. It's going to be quite good. Nobody's done anything quite like it. There's lots of books that what's the word? Recount Mrs. So-and-so's ghost story, or that's not the same. This is written by the people who saw the ghost, who sensed the ghost, felt the ghost, not the ghost ever.
Yeah,
it's different. So I'm doing that as well as everything else, editing it, and my takes. And God, I've got about 2 pages already. A ghost story, people's ghost stories. So I'm going to call people's ghost book. Be quite good that, and do it on Amazon and Kindle.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's still going to be funny. We've got a bit of connection issue there. I'm just going to. One of you guys, don't go anywhere. I'm going to stop it just for a second and try and launch it back live again.
No
Hope that it bear me just a second there.
Yeah.
Let's try and go offline.